TinkerCAD tips. We've been working on this multi-part Minnie Mouse cookie cutter, and in the last tutorial we had made this bow up here, and prior to that we had made this outline. Today we're going to work on the hands, which, if you recall, look something like this. Similar to the bow up here, there's parts of it that need to be trimmed down so that they don't cut all the way through. So let's come back to our workspace here, and let's click on the white part of our design here, and we'll make a duplicate of it, keeping the original intact. And you'll notice here that we have the eyes plus those reference markers. And for the sake of expediency here, we're going to get rid of those corner markers in the eyes, and we'll do that simply by bringing some hole boxes out here. Let's make a duplicate of that. We'll drag that over here. Move up a bit. Let's bring out another one over here. We'll enlarge it to cover the eyes. There we go. Now, holding down the Shift key, I'll select that box, and then the white part, the hands here. Merge all of those together. And now that we've done that, we no longer have our parameters here, the dialog that we need to do our outlining and such. So we need to turn this back into an SVG again. So let's go ahead, and while this is selected, we'll click on Export, click on SVG. We'll come down here, I'll click into my STL folder, and we'll call it Hands Only. Then we'll click on Import. There's our SVG. We're going to leave this at 100%. It'll be the same size as what we exported. There it is. Once it's imported back in, let's go ahead and delete the white hands here, our original one. And if we bring this down, you see we have our parameters back. Let's go ahead and increase the quality. We'll change it to white just to match the hands. There we go. All right, now like we did in the bow tie, we need to account for these lines. But let's go ahead and select on this. We're going to change the fill mode to outer line. We're going to change the corners to round. We're going to make it 1.2 millimeters. There we go. Now we need to account for cutting down those inner lines. And again, we'll bring out our new sketch tool. This makes this very handy for this. So we'll start up here in this upper corner, and again, I'm just using the straight line for this. Let's change our snap grid to off, a little more precise control. We'll just start cutting across here. And I'm going to go all the way around, and any of these inner parts that we need to cut away, I'll include. I'll be back in a moment when this is all covered. Okay, here are the final steps of my outlining all the parts that I want to reduce. I'm going to do the last one where it's enclosed everything. And you can see I've made a shape that encompasses and covers all of those inner parts. I'll click on Finish Sketch. That brings it back out on our work plane. I'm going to change that into a hole. I'm going to reduce the height to 4 millimeters, and I'm going to change the quality to 24. I'm going to hit D to make sure it's dropped on the work plane. Now, before I include that, I want to make a duplicate of this to put that outer lip on, the part of the cookie cutter that we'll grab onto. So we'll zoom in here. Let's select this white part again. We'll make a duplicate. And this time we're going to change the height to 2. The quality is 24, outer line, rounded, and we're going to make the line width 5 millimeters. And again, we're looking top down on this, so we're going to want to move that part to the top. So I'm going to select on this wider part. I'm going to shift select the inner part, click alignment. Then I'm going to click on that inner part again to make it the boss. Click this up here so that that thicker white part resolves to the top. There we go. We're going to lasso select all of those. Group those together. And here's what we're left with. If we zoom in here, you can see where there's parts of it that don't go all the way down to the work plane. So when we press out our dough with these, it won't cut through. And again, when we go to print this, we're going to want to print this upside down, so there'll be no supports needed for this at all. And there you have it. So this was part 4. Like, follow, and share. Come back for part 5, and we'll work on the face part of it. Hope to see you then. And if you have any questions about what I've done here, drop me a comment.